Hello and welcome to this video on forms in Microsoft Access 2013. Normally when we enter data, we would just simply be entering data into the table itself. So I have a student table here. If I double click on the students table, then I can see my list of students. And one easy way to enter data is to simply go to the next row where it says new, and I can start typing in a person's name, maybe Rob. I have to change the province for this particular student so that it will be correct. So I've entered the data, and now when I close the table, it'll automatically be saved. And now every time I run a query or do anything else, the proper record will be saved and stored. So I can do an email list, and there's a list of all the students, and Rob's name appears at the bottom. The other way to enter data is to use a form. So if I look here at this form that's already been created, I've named it Add Student, and I can double click on it, and you see that it contains all of the fields from the student table, but it is in an easier way to enter the data in an actual form. And then down at the bottom, now this could be customized depending on how I want to enter this particular data, but these are actually records that say the enrollment and the course ID. So this tells me which course the student is enrolled in. So at this point, I could actually enroll students in different courses if I knew their course ID. Now, in a more organized design, I would actually have a user be able to select course codes because they would be more familiar to the user instead of course IDs, but we haven't really gotten that far yet in this particular case. But I'm going to close this form, and I can make sure that the students table is selected. To create a form, all you got to do, select the table that you want, click on create, and then click form, and you'll get the form and its default settings. Now that we're in the field or in the form for designing, I can switch to design view instead of layout view, and I can make a number of changes. But generally speaking, the only thing that you'll be doing for the most part is maybe you can click on a cell, or sorry, a field, and you can shorten them. Notice how that selected. I selected the top one, but it selected all of them, that sort of thing. And then even this boundary here, I can make that a little smaller. And now when I switch back in from to the design tab, so we have the design tab, the arrange tab, which allows us to organize fields on a form, and we have format, so I can change some of the details, change the background color, have alternating rows, all that sort of stuff, which we're not going to get into in this course. You just have to know simply how to create basic forms. This form is called students, and I can change the name as add students. I'll call it add students 2 because it's my second one. And then when I double click on it, it has the exact design that I just included, and I can add and enter new students. So if I want to enter a new student, I simply go down to the bottom. Actually, this record is for course IDs, and down here is for student records because I have 5 students, and now I can add a new one. So you never type anything into the auto number field. So you can see down at the bottom is that the control cannot be edited. So I can enter a first name, a last name, and continue on with the rest of the information, and then I can even enroll them in courses. That's all we need to know for creating forms. If you have other questions, feel free to ask your instructor.